And thank you all for joining this week's Weekly Wave. We do have a bit of repeated information from previous weeks, but we do have a few updates from some things brought up last week in terms of issues. So right off the bat, in terms of our wave rollover, we are still feeling the ramifications of going offline for a bit in July. We still do have about a dozen districts not sending school year 22 data. We have reached out to every student information system that this is affecting, or the vendors that those districts are using who are not sending school year 22 data. This is going to affect everything in terms of student information and for any application that SDE has available to you all that consumes data from the wave. So if you're not sending updated school information, student enrollments, student demographics or contacts, anything along those lines, if we're not getting any updated information from your student information system as of a couple days ago, you should have gotten a direct contact from your vendor, or we've been told in one case they will be sending out reminders with specific directions on how to roll over your student information system from school year 21 to school year 22. If we are not still seeing any movement with this, our next step will be reaching out directly to superintendents and letting them know that their district is not sending school year 22 data as expected, and X, Y, and Z on how that will affect their district in terms of reporting and getting those reports, if they are consuming data from the wave, done in a timely manner. So do double check for those of you who are on the call if you're still seeing some hiccuping issues, you're not seeing things as you're expecting. It may be because you're not sending school year 22 data. And again, we'll be reaching out specifically to superintendents next if we're not still hearing from your student information system. Our second issue, it's partially corrected, is related to our EdPlan Sync. So for those of you who've been around for a little bit and have been a part of our calls last school year, you know that the communication between EdPlan and the wave was on a 24-hour 365 type of schedule. If the wave got an update, that same information would be sent over to EdPlan or PCG. Right now, for those of you who are also working with your special education staff or might be the person in charge of running that side of your student data, you may have noticed that it is a little bit slower in terms of us getting the information that exists in the wave or in my data over to EdPlan. Right now, we are currently not using the 24/365 type of data exchange that we've been telling you all that we will be moving to. We are using files at the moment to exchange data with EdPlan. So as a result, that may take 24 to 72 hours for any given data. It may take 24 to 72 hours for any given piece of data to get over to EdPlan. We do have a handful of emails still and voicemails that we do need to return. We do need to look specifically into your district to see if the issue in terms of not sending or not being able to see your school year 22 data is a result of it not being sent yet, or if there is a timing delay between when we got the information and when it was last sent over to EdPlan. So please do bear with us right now during this time. Again, just to sum it up, we are back to having a file exchange with EdPlan. And so that means the data exchange between SDE and EdPlan is much slower than you may have been used to at the end of the year. It'll take potentially 24 to 72 hours for any piece of data that is in the wave to be visible in EdPlan. If you're seeing that, or you've heard from our office that from our perspective, data looks all good to go, you'll want to reach out to our special education office, and we'll put a specific contact information in the chat here in a bit. But you'll want to reach out to our special education office as well, just to see from their perspective if there is anything that we may not be privy to that may be the reason why you're not seeing information as you're expecting. So I've kind of touched on this just a minute ago, but we do and are getting a lot of phone calls and emails for a variety of reasons. So right now, for some of you, you may have contacted us earlier in the week and we have not gotten back to you. Right now, we're asking for at least 24 to 48 hours, and in some cases 72, to respond specifically to your issue. For those of you who have emailed us in the last couple of days, you will have gotten an auto reply directly from our student data info inbox, just letting you know the same type of information, that we are experiencing a pretty high contact volume, and just bear with us because we are a small team and we want to make sure that we're giving you good information when we are responding back to a contact that you've reached out to us about. So with that, if you are still experiencing, I'm just going to flip back to the slide here. If you are experiencing issues with any of our wizards, our ownership wizard, as the STN wizard, or the data validation wizard, where you're seeing instances where you've corrected that information, but you're still not seeing those updating in any of those applications, do reach out to us and let us know. We'll take a look at it and see if there is a delay in terms of those refreshing, or if there happens to be a situation where we're not getting the updates from your student information system as we would expect. So we have to do a little bit of manual work to clear those up for you. Either way, just do reach out to us if you're coming across any issues on any of our applications, or you just have general questions about why you're not seeing X, Y, and Z. But do be specific about which application that you are looking at. We'll end up having to ask anyway, so it'll help us to get to it from the first time that we have to look at your contact. Okay. So for those of you, we say this pretty much every week, but for those of you who are potentially working with superintendents or admin staff in terms of getting new staff members access to the Wave, if this is their very first time getting access to the Wave, most likely they will not have an affiliates.ok.gov email address. And unfortunately, until we get this process automated, the way that you can get that affiliates email is by emailing the service desk. We've tried a couple of ways to make that step very visible when you're giving access to the Wave. But if you are still having folks that are having trouble getting into the Wave, it's asking for you to log in through Microsoft, and you're wondering, what information do I put in there? Because my school information that I use to log into a single sign-on is not working. They will need that affiliates email. It's just another security step that we have on top of the Wave to make sure that your data is secure. But again, until we get that process automated, so whenever a new user is given access to the Wave, they will automatically be sent that affiliate's email. Emailing our OMES service desk folks will be the step that you will need to take. OMES is the managers of all single sign-on accounts, and so they're the only entity that has the ability to give out those affiliate emails. So at that point, I will open it up to questions. I'll stop recording here for a